A classical education is grounded in the great books of the Western canon, is oriented towards truth, beauty, and goodness, and it helps students form the kind of noble character they will need not just to survive, but thrive. Now, that sounds good, but what does that look like in a middle school classroom? One which may have a relatively large number of students. Classroom management for classical educators requires a unique mix of leadership principles. Teachers should be patient and kind. They should model the same love of learning they hope to see in their students, and they should have high expectations for student behavior and academic achievement that they positively reinforce each day. Practically, teachers should have predictable procedures so students know what to expect each day. Here are my insights into classroom management, beginning with the number of rules a teacher should have in place. A teacher should only have as many rules as that teacher can enforce in a fair and just manner throughout class. If a teacher has a rule for every instance that may arise in the classroom, they will most likely drive themselves crazy and their students bonkers. In general, the best practice is to have relatively few rules, maybe 3 to 6 rules, so they are easier for the teacher to enforce fairly and for students to know what are the appropriate consequences if they break said rule. Now, here are my 3 rules, although they are more like hypothetical scenarios gleaned from the years I taught middle school. Scenario number 1. If someone is talking, you, the student, should not be talking. Kids are kids, so we should remind them that active listening is a way of showing respect to your peers. If students are talking over each other, they are not respecting each other, nor are their peers going to respect them, creating an unnecessary and negative feedback loop. As teachers, we've got to stay on top of this. Remember, this is all par for the course for adolescents, so provide appropriate and respectful redirection to help keep students on task and focused on the material at hand. Scenario number 2. If we're working, please stay in your seat. If a student gets up to get a tissue box, that may be only a few moments of not working time, but done each day translates into hours of learning loss over the course of the school year. Plus, one student getting a tissue normally distracts other students and gets more kids off task. So how can I prevent this? Well, if I'm teaching, I ask that students stay seated. We have pretty short class periods, so I think of each minute in class as a precious commodity I can't get back once it's gone. That means if a student has trash on their desk, I get it and I throw it away. If they need a tissue, I bring it to them, as if I am a waiter in a restaurant and not a teacher in a school. The reasoning behind this is all about circulating and proximity as a way to keep students on task. Some teachers teach like champions, others like pirates, but I find it much easier to manage a class, even a large class, if I teach like a shark. Sharks cannot stop swimming, or else they'll die. Well, except for nurse sharks. I ask students to stay in their seats so that I, as the teacher, can always be on the move, just like a shark. That way, I'm moving from the front of the room to the back of the room and side to side, always maintaining a sense of presence throughout the room to help keep students on task. That way, I'm in a position to redirect student behavior or notice student needs and tend to them. And of course, what students need is time to focus on the material, because time is a precious resource. We have to treat it as such. And that leads me to scenario number 3. If you have time to lean, you have time to clean. Truth be told, I got this scenario waiting tables in a restaurant. Busy restaurants need lots of cleaning, so employees are encouraged to get out a rag and start cleaning something if they have any downtime. Likewise, if we have gotten through everything we need to do in class, we might sweep the hallways. We might pick up some non-gross trash. We might even write thank you notes to teachers and family members, since, after all, showing gratitude is another appropriate way to spend some downtime in class. Now, I always have review games, and I build in time for homework too. So rarely, if ever, do we go out and sweep the halls. But I love having in the back of everybody's mind that if class is genuinely over, we're going to do something genuinely good for our school and the people who go here. Class time, after all, is a precious resource, and we're going to do all the good that we can with the time that is given to us, to paraphrase J.R.R. Tolkien. In conclusion, we hope this video helps teachers manage large classes without losing sight of the overall goal, which is that students would love to come to your class and they love to learn. To help draw this out, consider a trellis and a grapevine. A trellis is a wooden support structure for a grapevine. Clear procedures, rules, scenarios, that's the trellis. But the trellis is not alive and does not bear fruit. The grapevine is what produces fruit. And that fruit is a student whose heart and mind is filled with good things, a student who delights in the truth, a student who loves learning that much more because of the time he or she spent in your class. Ultimately, the procedures must serve the needs of the students. They must allow teachers to teach and students to study everything that is good, true, and beautiful, and in this way, contribute to the formation of good and noble character in students. So high expectations, positively reinforced day in and day out. And we teachers can help students love learning, know what is good, and persuade others to choose what is good too. So for Thales Press, I'm Winston Brady, and thank you so much for watching this video.